What is going on? Thank you for hanging out with us. I'm in Houston, Texas, radio host of the show on AM 1070, The Answer. Filling in for Mike Gallagher today. Boss should be back tomorrow. 800-655-Mike. MikeOnline.com. You can obviously stick with the site even though he's out. Still plenty of content. We run the actual video of the show, the television version from Houston, out to y'all. Gosh, there's so much. I'm looking at this defund the police stuff. People with so much anger and hatred. I mean, listen, once again, as I said 1,000 times, I don't live in mom's basement where she slides grilled cheese sandwiches under the door while I play video games. You go, defund the police. Can't wrap my arms around it. Either can the majority of Americans. Yahoo News poll says only 16% of those polled support defunding and shutting down the police. Americans out there in strong numbers are totally against this. This hatred of the police by the left, a small number, the majority of Americans, seriously. This hatred of the military, this hatred of energy independence, of capitalism, of the Lord, is a small but vocal number of people who were capturing the news headlines. What happens? Research is coming back. I told you on Monday that, A, I'm not the smartest guy in the world. I think you can figure that out by listening. But 2, having spent 34 years now in radio and TV, I know it's research heavy. And the Democrats working hand in hand with the Democrats, the media working hand in hand with the Democrats, the research is back. And because no Democrat stood up against the looting or took a strong stand against a church burning in Washington, this is now falling in their lap. There's panic in the Democrat Party. About the same size panic as having Joe Biden, who cannot and will not be allowed to give live speeches. It's kind of like, hand-in-hand panic going on there. But wait, there's more. And as I said, I've always said, this hatred of the police and this hatred of capitalism and this hatred of the Lord and this hatred of the military, all it's doing left is smoothing out that wonderful highway called re-election. It's a big highway. It says re-election right up on top. Trump 40-plus states. Because what's forming out there is, it's a great phrase. I heard it. I didn't invent it. Wish I could have stolen. I mean, I'll steal it, but I didn't create it. Called cold anger. What? Cold anger. I mean, you see a handful of people out there looting. It's kind of red-hot anger, I guess, right? But cold anger is maintained by those who work for a living, who take care of their children, take care of their husbands and wives, take care of their homes and business and employees. Basically, they're busy. Okay, they open the day with prayer, they end the day with prayer, and in the meantime, with their trust in the Lord and their faith in the Lord, they are responsible parents and they're responsible husbands and wives and such. So they're not leading that Democrat life. So it's kind of like cold anger because, you're busy. You're going to work. You listen to the Mike Gallagher show. You're going to work. You're taking care of things. You're being responsible, right? Not the left and not this small number. So the media working hand-in-hand with the Democratic Party, there is a blank storm going on right now. But wait, there's more to add to the cold anger. HBO has announced they're blacklisting the classic 1939 movie, Gone with the Wind. Wait, don't worry. I'm telling you, it's all part of the Trump re-election plan, and they don't even know it. What do they say? This is HBO. It's been blacklisted. They say Gone with the Wind is a product of its time, and it depicts some of the ethnic and racial prejudices that have unfortunately been commonplace in American society. Those racist depictions are wrong then or wrong today, and we felt that to keep this title up without an explanation and denouncement of these depictions would be irresponsible, said HBO's spokesman. So they blacklisted a classic movie from 1939. HBO said it will return, as Breitbart says, but it'll be vandalized with a film introduction of the, quote, correct people instructing us on how to correctly view it. Well, but no, let me keep going. There's more. So a blacklist of Gone with the Wind, right? How many of us remember the TV show? Cops, bad boys, what you gonna do? Okay. New York Times. You have that there, Chris? I'll hold it up. Cops, long-running reality show that glorified the police is canceled. That's the New York Times headline. The long-running reality show that glorified police is canceled. So as I say often, and I know there's a lot of people out there, hardworking real Americans, who are like getting that, quote, cold anger. All right. Chill, slow down. Hug your husband, hug your wife. Have a fine single malt or blended scotch. All of this is creating a huge push to, I mean, it's way over the left, to fund the police, spit on the soldiers, burn a church, throw bricks at the Secret Service, Blacklist, Gone with the Wind, take off the reality show Cops, because according to the New York Times, it glorifies police. I never saw it as glorification of police, but who am I? And it's taking the pendulum and pushing away to the left. So far left, it's at the very, 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 very top. What happens? We learn in physics. For every action, there is what? An equal and opposite reaction. So imagine, and let's do force multiplication, right? You're a fan of Cops or Going with the Wind, what have you. But you understand that pulling things off because it offends me. I don't like it. Some of these things are historical. 1939, it should still be watched, but blacklisted? Right? So all those folks who have police in their families, and make it about 6 or 8, there's about 1 million police officers in America-ish. So make that about, with husbands, wives, moms, dads, sisters, brothers, make that about 8 per cop. So about 8 million people you've offended with your defund the police, because all police are crooks, all police are whatever. Spitting on the soldiers out there, whether it's 19th Special Forces Group and others in the National Guard, or banning them from a hotel like in Washington, D.C. by the mayor. There's about 1 million members of our active duty military and reserves and such. So multiply that by about 8 moms, dads, sisters, brothers, who are all offended at throwing out National Guardsmen from a hotel in Washington, D.C., a la the mayor did there. So you got 8 million guys. So it's 16 million. I could keep going. Property owners. 80% of Americans' businesses are small businesses. So imagine all those people who saw the looting on television and not a single Democrat standing up and going, you must stop, this is horrible. So how about 10 million businesses? Moms and dads, throw in 5, 6. How about 40 million people directly affected and not including employees? So right now I'm at 56 million people who are directly affected negatively by the actions of the extremist alt-left, who put the Lord, there's no relationship with God, because you wouldn't behave that way. There's no respect to our Bill of Rights, ratified in 1791. As far as they're concerned, just burn it. Put all those together, those force multipliers, and all those people affected by this extremist alt-left behavior, who are they going to support in November? Seriously. Do you think people whose moms and dads work in retail stores that were looted in Minneapolis are going to be like, this has been working so far, mom and dad are out of work, but who cares? When it affects them, their safety, and their prosperity, dollars for donuts, sports fans, they will change. They will flip and say, I'm turning my back on this. And whether it was the looting in Minneapolis, whether it was the looting where I was born in North Philadelphia, do you think those people there are cool with that? Do you think all of the men and women who have cops in their families are cool with their husbands or wives being demonized by the extremist left and their co-conspirators in the media? Of course not. Or this now Nazi-like behavior. We're blacklisting movies and books and all this and television shows. They must be gone. Right? I can't bet you on the radio. They won't let me allow, but I would put a lot of money right now on Trump's massive reality